So the fourth city was called Elmira. Elmira is a very interesting place. There's a lot of famous people that have died there. Mark Twain being one of them. NFL players are buried there. So I don't know why they chose Elmira. It's this tiny little city, but they did. And so there's a prison there where Lil Wayne was in prison. He wrote one of his albums there. And so whenever we talk to people, we'd say, like, what's with Elmira? Why is there so many famous people here? They say, oh, well, our claim to fame is Mark Twain and Lil Wayne. And so they would go around and be like, we just combine the two and say Mark Wayne and Lil Twain. And so that's our claim to fame. There's Mark Twain posters everywhere. The library's named after him. So it's a interesting little place where he's buried, and that's what they're known for. So it's just a small little town. There's a little college there, but it's beautiful, beautiful area. It's just south of the Finger Lakes, and there's a place nearby called Watkins Glen, which is just a giant waterfall. You just walk it, you just see this giant, it's like a canyon that just gets lower and lower and lower as you go, and the waterfall just keeps on eroding things, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And so there's a lot of diversity in that area. There's a town nearby called Ithaca, where, if you've heard of Cornell University, that's where Cornell is. And there's a lot of diversity between those areas. And so I probably taught more people of different ethnic backgrounds in that area than I did any other area, which was a very neat experience. But that was, the ward in that area was very, very big. It was probably the biggest ward I ever served in. There were about 300 people average coming to church. And it just felt like being in Utah, that it was a Utah ward where everybody was friends, and, it wasn't, like in other wards, like 75 to 100 people, but actually a lot of things. And, the problem wasn't giving people callings, it was figuring out what callings to give. You had to make up callings because all the callings were taken. And so it just felt like being in Utah again, but while being in New York. And so that was really cool. Cool memory or experience. I was there for a very short period of time. I remember my mission president calling me to tell me to go there, and he said, I just talked with President Monson at Mission President Seminar, and he said, Joseph, you transfer missionaries too quickly. And so he said, Elder Free, make sure that you're going to be in this area for a long time. And then I'm only there for a transfer. And so two transfers. And so I was like, President, what the heck? He just told me that I was going to be here for a while. And he's like, yeah, well, Spirit wants me to send you somewhere else. And it's like, yeah, sure, blame the Spirit. Easy go-to. But I remember there was just a lot. We did a blitz where there were 3 sets of missionaries in this ward. So the 6 missionaries, we all split up. And so the 4 elders went with 4 different members of the elders quorum or high priests, and then the 2 sisters split up and went on splits with Relief Society. And so we got a list of every less active that we knew was around, and even those that we didn't know. And we spent 2 days, a Friday night and then all of Saturday, just going and trying to figure out who's less active, are they still around, why are you less active, would you like to come back, and just try and update the records. And it was a very wonderful experience. It helped the missionary work so much. And then the next day, I remember in ward council, the bishop, he took us to a hillside, which was actually where a Revolutionary War battle had taken place, and it overlooked the entire valley. It was on a hilltop, and I remember it was like very foggy that morning. And he basically, he didn't dedicate the land for missionary work, but he asked Heavenly Father for increased blessings and increased direction and increased amount of the Spirit to prepare people, but also for members to find. And so Friday night and Saturday we do this blitz. Then Saturday we have work council. And then after church Sunday, we had members just coming up to us left and right saying, hey, we'd like to come teaching with you. What are your plans today? Can we come teaching with you? And it was just like everything started to happen. And so that ward taught me a lot about the member involvement and being a member versus a missionary, my role in helping out the missionary work. And so that was a very cool experience that I was able to have. So there's not much other I can think of.